All right, ladies and gentlemen, live from Hamilton, Missouri, inside the main shop of Missouri Star Quilt Company, it's Jenny Doan!
Don't clap too long, you'll make me cry. Thank you guys for being here. This is our first, one of our first live tutorials for, online, for live. Anyway, I've done a lot of lives in my day, but this is actually really fun to do a tutorial in the main shop on some extra information. This is National Quilting Month, so we are doing a whole bunch of extra content for you, and one of them includes this tutorial today. So we didn't sub out one of the regular Friday tutorials. We're just giving you more, All right, so I'm Jenny Doan from the Missouri Star Quilt Company, and today what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you how to make the Fold and Go Folio. The Fold and Go Folio is a pattern by Amy Barickman, and it's with her permission that we do this, and I've moved it around 15 times. Oh, here it is. I've moved it around 15 times, and now I can't find it. So this is the actual pattern, and she came and showed it to me, and Amy is this wealth of information. If you have never met her, don't really know the kind of things that she does. She concentrates on vintage stuff, and she did a wonderful live with Kate yesterday where she talked about a lot of vintage stuff, and I imagine she'll probably be pretty regular, but she has made this vintage notion book right here that is just a wonderful book and a wealth of information, and it's based off some old circulars from a college that happened in the 20s. It was a correspondence college that people would take to learn more about how to sew and how to make things, and it was a millinery school. I mean, just all kinds of fun things in there. Anyway, this is the book, and she came up with this cute Fold and Sew folio, and she's got this great pattern. It's like, it opens for days. Lots of information on it, lots of information on the back. So, and lots of information on here about what you can do with it. So, of course, I saw it, when she showed it to me, I saw it as a sewing notion. So for me, I was like, oh my gosh, this is for sewing. This is going to be perfect. And then I saw the shape. So let me show you mine right here that I made. How cute, right? All the little things. So I do a lot of handwork. I'm one of those people that my brain goes so fast. I've got to have something for my hands to do. I do it in the car. I do it when I'm watching TV, all the time. And so I do a lot of handwork. So to have something like this to take with me when I go places is super handy. But what I saw when she brought this was this right here. So this is our octagon template. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we could make this with the octagon template. And so we have two of these, and you know how I am about templates. A template is great if it does one thing, but if it does a lot of things, then it becomes a useful template. It becomes one of those templates that is important. It gives it more value. And so when I saw this, I was just like, oh my gosh, we can do this, with the template. So after a bit, after I show you how to make this, I'm going to go through and show you some of the things she's done with hers, because there are just a million options, really a million options. All right, so what we're going to do first is we're going to take a piece of batting, and this is all based on the 10-inch layer cake square. I'm all about the pre-cuts. And so we're going to take a piece of batting, and we're going to take a piece of fabric for the front and a piece of fabric for the inside, and I'm going to go with this little strawberry one here. And just so you know, this fabric that I'm using right here is called So Good Fabric. It's by Deborah Fisher, and it is not yet available. It is in a COVID container ship somewhere. We're waiting for it to come in. Should come in anytime. This was the tutorial that I did last week using these fabrics, and literally, don't we love sewing fabric? Anything sewing fabric. And so, so basically, we're going to take this 10-inch square. Did I just walk clear out of the camera, BJ? No? You don't know? All of a sudden, I'm like, over here, and all of a sudden, I'm remembering, he said, don't go past here, Okay. So anyway, you can see how this octagon fits on here like this. We're just cutting off the corners, and that's going to make it. So I have some of them cut right here. So I'm going to walk you through this, because when you make one, you learn how to do it. And when you make more than one, you learn how to do it easier, and you learn what to watch for. And so this right here, so this fabric is actually Janet Recker Fresh, and it's called She Who Sews. And she does amazing line drawing stuff. And this is the inside right here. So we're going to use this needles and pin cushion one. So cute. And then this one has dress forms and sewing machines and scissors and shoes and all the kind of things on it. And it is quite, actually, it isn't really, but to me what I wanted to see was directional. So I wanted the sewing machine to be upright. That's not something I caught until the third one of these I made. because these, it doesn't matter which way this goes, right? You know, it doesn't matter which way the buttons go or which way, you know, anything that goes all over the place, it doesn't matter. But when you're dealing with this, this matters. So the one I made out of this, when you fold it, this side, you know, depending upon what you want as to what's upside down or not. Do you see what I'm saying? And so watch that when you pick your fabric and watch it when you put them together. So what we're going to do on this is I'm going to put two of these together, and I have my batting first. And I just use batting. You can use fusible iron-on. You can use whatever you want. Anything that's a little bit of fluff inside will work. And then we have our fabric on here, and we're going to put this tomato on top, right sides together. Then what we're going to do is we're going to sew all the way around this, and we're going to leave one opening to turn. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a little bit in like this. So I'm going to come in, do a little bit of a back stitch so that it doesn't pull out when I turn it. And then I'm just going to sew all the way around this, and then we'll flip this.
Hey, Jenny, the social audience is asking you to move your mic a little closer to your mouth.
See, BJ?
What happened?
I need my mic closer to my mouth.
Okay.
There we go. So I usually wear a clip-on mic, and they were worried that wouldn't pick up well enough. And then, so now I have this little fancy ear thing that we're giving it a shot.
You're doing great, Jenny.
All right. Now, before I saw this, I just thought of something else. Before I sew this, I just thought of something else because I have started one here. And this is important. So, because we're adding a lot of little things to the inside, on this one right here, on this one, I added all these things after I had finished this, turned it, and top stitched it. So you can actually see the sewing lines on the outside of here. If you don't want to see those sewing lines, then you're going to need to sew these pockets, these, you know, all the little things that you want to put in here, you're going to want to sew these on before you sew the two down together, so that when you turn them, none of these stitches like this are on the wrong side. Okay? So then they won't show up on the outside. So that's basically that. So on this one, I have this little pocket sewn right here, and all I did was sew the bottom part of it on. And this is another thing I learned. So this one right here, it has scissors that go in here. They're not here. You know why? Because when you clip this together and you pick it up, they slide out. So on this one, I turned the pocket around so that if they slide out, they land inside. And so these are all just, you know, as you do one more thing, you're like, okay, got to remember that now, you know. And so also on this one, there's loads of ways to put them together so they close. You can put snaps on, and I have some beautiful snaps. You can have a ribbon. You can have buttons. This one, I actually went to the dollar store and got some hair ties. And the hair tie, you know, those little elastic hair ties, they go right around a button. Then you can put a cute little button on there and use your little hair tie. So I have one of those on here, but you can use Velcro. You can, you know, you could even make a buttonhole if you were so inclined. All right, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to put these two right sides together. Now, because my button loop is right here, I've already sewn that on there. I'm not going to start and stop there. That's going to be too hard to turn when the time comes. So I will probably start and stop over on this side over here.
Hey, Jenny, Teresa would like to know if you can make them bigger than using the template.
Oh, you can make a giant one and put handles on it and carry it with you wherever you go. Literally. That actually is what's so versatile about these. So we have the little ones that are made with the little template, which, how cute are these, you know, and I'll talk about those a little bit more, but literally they can be made any size. For me, I'm a little bit of use what I have around me, and we had just done a triple play using the octagon template, and that was fresh in my mind. So when she showed me that, I was like, oh, we could use this. And of course, she has in her pattern, you know, her little sketch out so that you can draw it out yourself. You don't have to have the template, you know, and so you can go ahead and use the pattern as your, you know, use this pattern and draw out your pattern piece on this so that you can use it for your fold and go, which is very handy. All right, I'm going to find where my little hair tie is, and we are going to start over here. Now, one of the things I found too on about the second or third one is that I was sewing these 1/4 of an inch, and when you sew these 1/4 of an inch, I missed the fabric a few times, but I found like about 1/2 an inch was real good, and it didn't at all. I didn't miss my fabric. So I'm going to go across this. And I don't know if you just saw what I did, but I went across the place I was going to start to open. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to choose a new opening spot. And so we're just going to go ahead and keep going around this. So I'm a little fatter than 1/4 of an inch. And we're going to go around here. There, sew over that hair band, hair tie. I don't know where the reverse, oh, here we go. This is not my usual sewing machine, but it's a good one. And I see they have it already turned up as high as it can go for me. Those of you who have spent any time with me at all, you know I like to sew fast and furious. All right. Now, one way to get these corners real sharp is to sew off the edge and start again. I'm kind of pivoting and turning. And if you're good at that, your corners will be fine. But if you want them really sharp, you're going to want to sew off the edge. Like I'll sew off this one, and then you'll come back and start on the straight again. Oh, I'm almost there. I have to remember. I think what I'll do is I'll do it right on this row right here so I don't forget. All right, so I'm going to go up, and I'm going to stitch back. And there's no cut on here, so I'm just going to lift my needle and go forward. And then we're going to go up and back. I'm going to go here, and then I'll sew straight across.
Hey, Jenny, what machine are you using?
I'm using the Baby Lock Jubilant. It's a great little starter machine. It's not big, but the thing that's nice about it is that it does everything. And so it's a little Jubilant. It does everything. And do we have any scissors? That's right. Oh. Oh, those are pinking shears. But they'll work. And you don't have to do this. I do this because I was a clothing sewer first. When you clip the corner, then it's less fabric in that corner, and it'll make for a cleaner turn. But now they're just going to be fabulously beautiful with our pinking shears. And this one right here. So just so you know, when I film in my regular place, you know, it's almost like I have my whole sewing room up in the film studio. And so I know where everything is. Everything's in the same spot. You know, we're able to look and find all the things. And so that's why here we're just like, well, I don't know where the scissors are. Oh, here they come. They've just appeared. And I probably will not need them again. But thank you.
Annette would like to know the purpose of the elastic. She missed it. What's that used for?
Okay, so I'll go over that in just a minute. It's going to be to close around your button. It's just a way of closing your little Fold and Go Folio so that you can
And could you sew perhaps a smaller folio into a larger folio to make a
double folio?
There you go.
The folio-lio.
Exactly.
I think that's what it'll be. Folio twice. All right. We're almost through here. All right, so now I'm just going to turn it, and I'm going to take this little turning stick, and honestly, you can use the end of your scissors. You can use a chopstick, a knitting needle, whatever you'd like. The purple thing. That's a little wild there, screwdriver. I'm pretty sure I would not do well with that. Although I'm pretty good with a scissor point, but I know to watch that. All right, so there's my little loop came up. That's going to go across from my button. And I'm just going to keep poking out these corners so they're nice and sharp.
Is there a reason you prefer the baby lock machine?
So the reason that we went with baby lock to begin with, so let me just tell you a little bit about machines. There are about 4 factories that make parts. They make all the parts for all the machines. And so most of the machines are made, they're the same parts put in different housings by different companies. And so when you shop for a machine, it's like buying a car. They're all going to get you where you want to go. What you're shopping for is your dealer. So find a dealer, and if you can walk in with some, crummy machine that you got at a yard sale, and you say, will you fix this? And he says, oh, of course we will. That's the guy you're looking for. If he says, no, I won't fix it unless you buy it here, you do not want that dealer. You want a dealer who's going to take care of you, whether you have a fabulous machine or a garage sale machine. And I'll tell you what, people ask me all the time, my machine broke, I can't afford a new one, what do I do? I'm like, go to the Goodwill. You're going to find these metal machines. Chances are somebody's going to sew on that twice, and you're going to get a really great machine for a really good price. And it's going to keep going because of these heavy metal machines. And so I always suggest going to get something like that first. Thrifting a machine is, people call me all the time and they're like, I have these old machines, or my mom passed, or whatever. Do you want these machines? And I'm like, yes, I do. So all the machines that you see in all these buildings, they are mine. Don't tell my husband. All right. So now I have this on here, and I am just going to press it. And we need to wait a minute for this to warm up. And I'm going to press it nice and flat. And then where this is opening up right here, I'm going to fold one side over the batting, and the other side I'm just going to fold in. But you want those to line up really good. Just fiddle with it until it looks nice, because you don't want to see that closure. You want to be able to just top stitch over the top so that it lays down nice and flat. All right, so there's things you need to watch for on this that I am already seeing that I didn't watch for. But you'll get better at this as you make more. And one of the things that's fun about this is because it is so quick and an easy little project and so many options, I think you'll find this is one of those things where it's like somebody at your guild is having a birthday, you're going to make them this, something like that. All right, so what I've done here, here's my pocket, here's my loop. I know this is going to fold this way. But this is now the front of my folio, which is okay, but how cute would it be if this were the front? So, you just want to watch those things. Watch what side is going to turn up on the other side, which I wasn't even thinking about when I put that on there and sewed it together. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go around this, and I'm just going to top stitch it all the way around. And there is white thread on here, which is fine because this will show up well on either side. And so I'm going to start right here. I'm going to start at my opening, actually. And I'm just going to make sure this is laying really nice. And then I'm going to top stitch it. And I'm going to go pretty close to the edge on this one. And I'll go all the way around it close to the edge. All the way around this little thing. So I'm probably in about 1/8 of an inch, I would say. You can go in as far as you want, and that is determined by how big of a seam you took, because that's going to determine how much closure room you have. And so if you just have a little bit of closure room, you can go in just a little bit when you go all the way around the edge. So I'm actually driving mine on the inside of the foot right here. Oh, wait, I never finished telling you about the baby lock machine, did I? So all the machines are made, same factories, different housings, find a good dealer. Baby lock is very good to us. And one of the things I discovered is that I used to be the person when I sew, I pull my fabric through this way. My pedal is always to the metal. It never goes fast enough for me. What I've discovered is that once I got a machine that sewed as fast as my heartbeat, whatever it is, I don't know, but as fast as I wanted to go, I no longer needed to pull. I no longer had to, so Baby Lock has a machine, and Baby Lock has one, Brother has one, Juki has one. Again, it's your dealer. But they're these metal machines. They're only straight stitch, and I'm a piecer. That is what I do. I piece, and only straight stitch, but it sews 1,600 stitches a minute, or an inch, or a minute. No, a minute. A minute. That's way more sense than an inch. That would be a lot. I would never sew that close because that would be terrible to pick. Can you imagine? So anyway, Baby Lock, we had a contract with Baby Lock. The contract is long gone, but I'm still using them. And, we're actually looking at some new machines right now. So it'll be interesting to see where we land with all of it. But they're all good. Again, you're shopping your dealer. And you just want to make sure you get somebody who's going to take good care of you because, they're all going to get you where you need to go. People say, what kind of machine do I need to make, what you're doing? And I'm like, one that runs. All right, so I'm here at my edge. I'm going to creep up to it, and I'm going to stitch back, and no scissor cut. We get so used to the things. So that is one of the things when you're looking at a machine. Figure out the things that you want that matter to you, and then those are the things that you're looking for. Like when you go to buy a car, you're like, well, I want power windows, I want locking doors, or I want a remote start. Those are the things. Make a list of all the things that are important to you when you're sewing. I've sewn so long with a thread cutter, I have a really hard time not just going and cutting my thread. So I get on one of these and I'm like, okay, cut the thread, All right, so now that I have this on here, and I have this little pocket on here already, but I'm going to take it off because I can see that it's not straight, and that would drive me crazy. I'm very linear, so I can see it's not straight, so I'm going to straighten it up, and actually it's the bottom of this pocket that isn't straight. So to make my pocket, what I did was I took a fabric like this, not the one I already cut from my folio, but I cut about a 2x3. Now, in Amy's pattern, she has all the measurements for loads of different things that you can put in here. But I'm making mine mostly for what I want. Secondly, because I wanted to make sure that this cute thing was fussy cut and I could see it. So I wanted to, so that's the size I cut, so it's whatever you want. So then once you get your stuff ready like this, or you get your two things turned and you're ready to go, what we're going to do then is we are going to start looking at what we want on the inside. And so now we're going to start going through these because basically you have finished your mat. Let me see if this is straight. A little bit up on this side. Right here.
Jenny, everyone on social media loves your sweater.
Right? CJ Banks, 8 years ago, clearance rack. All right. So now I know that this is straight. I'm going to lay it on here one more time, make sure it's actually straight. I'm one of those people, probably, drives people crazy. I'm like, that is like a bit down. Can you raise that can you raise that a hair? A little, I'm that. I see that. My poor husband. I said to him, honey, you can put as many holes in the wall as you want to because I can spackle. All right, so here's a little pocket. I will start adding things to this then that I want. Your folio is basically, no, wait, it's not quite done yet. Wait, all right, so before we put all the things on, we have to do a little bit of this work right here that makes it fold nice, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to sew one line directly down the middle of this. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold mine in half because I can measure it, but this is way easier. We're going to fold it in half. I'm going to get a press line, just like that. Now I have a line to sew on right down the middle. I'm going to sew right down the middle on that line, and then I'm going to show you how to make those other two lines. I forgot about the fold and sew lines. This really helps keep it together so that it will stay nice and folded up. And so I'm just going to sew straight across, and that gives me a nice fold line. And I'm going to do just a little bit of back stitch. And then to make your little side lines, what we're going to do is we are going to go up. We're going to go up 2 inches like this. So I'm going to go 2 inches up on this line, and I'm going to put a pin. I have a pin. I'm going to put a pin right here because I could make a mark, but it's just easier to put a pin. And then I have a pin here, 2 inches up. And then all of this, understand, all of this you can draw, you can do it. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go to these corners out here, and we're going to sew straight into that mark. All right, so straight into that mark on both sides, just like this, and straight up here, just like that. And that's going to make our fold lines. And we're going to go right from here to my pin. And you can draw that if you want to.
What are the benefits of a wool pressing mat?
Oh, I'm not sure, but they're amazing. I don't know about benefits. So I know there's actually a lot of science-y kind of stuff about it, you know, where it like has moisture in it, the wool has moisture in it, and so it just makes everything lay so nice and flat. So I have to tell you a funny story about the wool pressing mat. I was teaching at I think it was the Tennessee National Guild, and they had this, you know, huge, and I'm walking along the aisles, and I see this lady with this wool pressing mat, and I'm like, what is this? Tell me about this. And she's like, oh, it just makes everything plate so flat, makes everything so nice, blah, blah, blah. She's going on and on about it, and I'm just like, I got to have one of those. So I bought one, and they were brand new, and at the time, it's a little this, it's like this. I mean, it really doesn't do anything but look cute because, I mean, you can't put a whole lot of stuff on it. I mean, I could do one half square triangle on it. But anyway, it was so cute, and I think it was like close to $80. So expensive because when things first come out, you know. I came home to Missouri Star and I'm like, we've got to get these. These are amazing. These are the coolest thing. They're like, we have them. I'm like, nobody told me. Nobody told me. All right. So anyway, I do love a wool pressing mat, I have to say. Mine is worn out. I need a new one. But
we have them.
I'm pretty sure Missouri Star. I can get one at Missouri Star. All right, so then I'm going to go up from these. This is the other side, directly across the other side. We're going to go up from here, little bit of a stitch back, straight to the middle.
Any thread recommendations for this project?
No. So my thread recommendations are, here's my thought about thread. We have a lot of auctions in the Midwest, you know, and somebody will be like, it's like entire box thread. If I can take thread and pull it and it doesn't break, I'm going to use that thread. I'm not particular about thread. If I love what works. The only time I change my color is if I'm top stitching and it matters. Otherwise, I sew with white and I sew with dark, and I use the biggest spool I can find because I don't want to change it. I'm a pretty lazy sewer. And the other thing about thread is that, I mean, if it gets lint, I just have one of those air can things, and I just blow the dust out. You know, it doesn't bother me. I love our Missouri Star thread because it's a fairly big spool and it's cheap. But what you'll notice, the reason I decided not to be all crazy about thread is when you see an old quilt, it is not the thread that's going bad. Never. Not the thread. You know, you think about all the old quilts, all the little stitches, it's not the thread. And so I was like, you know what? We're okay with thread. So I have an Aurifil box that they made for me, and it's like all the basic colors. But I really I'm not a great salesperson about that because I kind of use whatever's close at hand and whatever's the biggest, you know. All right, so now that I've sewn these, you can see I've sewn these little right here. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press these so that they lay over. And so I'm going to take this right here, and I'll put my iron on here, and I'm just going to give it a shot of steam. Let it sit for a minute. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. And then I'm going to fold that in, and I'm going to fold these up, and I'm just going to give this a healthy dose of heat. Just hold it on there for a minute. We're going to do the same thing to this side. And so with the stitches, you know, it'll always have that natural close now. And so I did notice on Amy's pattern, Amy actually took it like this and sewed a teeny tiny little stitch on here like this so that they are permanent, which you can do, absolutely. All right, so I'm going to fold this one down. I'm lining it up on the seam line, lining this one up on the seam line, folding it over. And then I'm going to fold this up and in and give it a good press.
What type of batting or interfacing are you using?
I'm using a leftover piece from the bottom of my quilt. But you could use, you can use, fusible, whatever it is you want to use, you could use that for yours. All right, so basically this is now a done folio, and you get to design what you want inside and what works for you. Also, you're going to design your closure, so you can easily put a little ribbon on there. And for me, again, it's about making do. It's what you have. I have this little guy, but I can't even tell you how many jars I have of these. Mostly big jars. I love buttons. Amy loves buttons. And so I love a cute button on mine. I have a cute button here. And when this comes over, this is not a hair tie. This is actually just flat elastic. So again, anything works. And you can just put that around it, and it loops it, holds it. If you are a button, a buttonhole making person, I sew, if I buy a shirt that has buttons, I sew it closed. Never gaps, never comes undone. I literally, where they have that top stitching on this side, I literally sew down the front. And I just pull it off over my head, It's just makes it so simple for, because otherwise, there's no wardrobe malfunctionings happening here, I'm just saying. All right, so take a look at what you want inside, and I have all kinds of things here. Maybe if you're a clip, a squeezy clip user, you can do that. If you need these, Dollar General, this is little 1/4 and 1/8 inch elastic that you can get here or any place. Velcro makes a great closure, so you could actually run your Velcro up across here, and your scissors will not fall out, and that will go with you in the car. Cute snaps. So I did one over here. I have one over here that I did with snaps. This is maybe it's over there. Anyway, no, this one, I put the trick button on the outside. And how cute are these scissors, right? And then inside, it's this snap, and so I sewed the snap. And look at it. You probably can't see this very well. I don't know if you can get really close on that, but it has like these little flower edges, and that's where you put your stitches. And, it just makes a really cute little. But see, when I'm making these, all of my little things are sitting up this way for my scissors. And actually, this is really handy. It just magnetized the scissors to the snap. But now I can't close it, so that's another problem. But now on this one, I'm going to put my pocket backward because I was like, where do my scissors keep going? And so then I realized that this right here, if I turn the pocket the other way, they would hold them in and they wouldn't fall out. And so it's, we just learn as we go along. So put in what you want to put in them. But I want to go through some of Amy's over here. These are my empty ones. And this is one Kathleen made, and it's got, pockets in different places. And she actually just left the batting on the inside, which that's cool if you want to do that too. I like the little tie. But Amy uses these for everything from her. And when you travel a lot, you learn what works for you. And I always have cords, our plug-in cords for our phones and our stuff like that, so it doesn't go. And she uses them for tech stuff. She uses them for her jewelry, all kinds of things. So I'm going to open up these, and I don't know any more than you do what's inside them. We are going to find out together. So look at this little one right here. So she's got these little things to put her thread spools in. Now on mine, I always use, when I do English paper piecing, hand appliquing, I use pre-wound bobbins for my thread, and I use light and dark. The reason I use pre-wound bobbins is, number one, they last forever. Number two, they're a finer thread, so it doesn't show, your stitches don't show as much as if you use a regular full-on thread. And I only use 2 colors, so I use a light and a dark, so that you can do it. I have another little thing over here for clips. I have some of our cute little Missouri Star Chuck the Duck and pins. I used my handy dandy pinking shears to cut out these little pieces of felt. We have all these felts and all these colors, this wool felt. You could use a piece of wool. You could use a regular thing and pins. And honestly, I think if I had this to do over, I wouldn't add the top flap. I would just have one side in there and just do it. And Amy has like a little thimble pocket, and this is a little drawstring bag. Cute as can be. This is a little drawstring bag. Her little thimble or needle things and that. And see, this is what I meant. See her little tuck right here? She's sewn a little tuck. That kind of keeps it going in the same direction. Let's look in this one. So this one, she's got the grays, and isn't this fabric fun? These are her fabrics. Amy Barickman, you can find them online. One of the things that she has online at amybarickman.com is she has all kinds of different information about these and a load of other stuff. I mean, just a ton of stuff. This one, I remember what's in here. And so as we open this up, look, this is her jewelry carrier. And she puts her earrings in there. And she's got a little cinch tie pouch for her bracelets. She's got a ring in here. Her necklaces can stay in a long loop so they don't get tangled, you know. And so it just makes a beautiful little thing for your jewelry. And one of the first things I do is I have this little zipper pouch. I'm the queen of, I love zipper pouches, you know. And I put all my jewelry in there. And the first thing I do when I get there is I dump it all out and spend about 30 minutes untangling. And then we move on, right? So this is one of her little sewing ones. And she has 2 spools of thread in here. I can feel that. Little thimble. 2 little threads over here that just fit right under the elastic. And the elastic is just attach it, sew, attach it, sew. You know, it's just one of those. Lots of different little things. And then, of course, we have a smaller template, and she has different sizes in her patterns. And so look at this little one right here. Look at it's cute with all its little pins. She's got let me get around here, this edge of this little thing. Got caught on the head of the pin. I don't want to, there we go. That was easier. All right, so she's got because, you know, when you're doing handwork, you never need a ton of pins. You might need one, or you might need a clip, something to hold that together. And so, you know, she's got just a few pins here, safety pins. How many of us when we're traveling have ever really wished we had a safety pin? Can I just say? Me. All right. This is another one, fun inside. All right. So now I want to talk a little bit about what's on the outside, because she's done some clever things. I mean, this is an old piece of an old quilt that she's used. And I just love that. And she has one here. Let me see if I can find that. Here, these blocks right here. She made a folio out of this, and I thought I had it up here. Did we see it? Did I already show you it? Yes, right here. So here's this. You know, it's already been stitched onto a foundation piece by whoever made it in the, you know, early 1900s, you know. And you find these kind of things all the time at like an antique store, or, you know, I mean, I've bought stacks of these, of different kinds of things like this. And literally, you know, here's what she's done. She's laid this on here like this and cut it out and just made this darling little, how cute is that? And now it's useful. It's not sitting in a shoebox under your bed. It's not sitting in a drawer somewhere not being used. It's actually useful. And so, again, there's just one little layer of fabric on the back that was put on by the person who made it. But I would probably tend to reinforce this somehow, you know, before I put it on. And I love that. I love that she uses the old blocks. This is also an old block. When you see it big, you can see. Isn't that darling? I mean, what a great use for these things. So anyway, these are so easy. They're quick. There's all kinds of fun things you can do with it. Let me, oh, look how cute this fabric is. I just got squirreled, sorry. Look at these, so cute, right? So, Kathleen, have I forgotten anything?
amybarickman.com for bonus content?
Yeah, lots of bonus content, amybarickman.com. And she actually has, she does classes online, all kinds of things. She's a very, very clever girl. Has a lot going on, and if you need any knowledge about any of this stuff, that's your spot to go. Anything else?
Fold and Go Folio.
All right. Well, this is, let me find my pattern.
We do have a couple more questions
Okay,
for you
let's do
over
some
here.
questions first.
Marcy noticed the Aliso iron. Is it new, and is it a good iron?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, so this is our new iron, the new colorway, and so for me, the best thing about Aliso is this right here, because as I get older, this is my sore shoulder. My shoulder hurts, and I don't have to, you know, because we all love heavy irons. You know, if you're a quilter, you want, you know, this little tiny thing that it's like we're pushing on it, trying to get it, but if it's a heavy iron, then it already uses its weight to work. And so literally when I hold this down, I don't have to lift it, I don't have to pull it, I don't have to do it. Now, if you have one of these at work and you use it all the time for quilting and you go home and you don't have one of these, you're probably going to have to buy new pants, because you'll leave it sitting down like this instead of sitting it up. And your one at home doesn't have legs. And it burns a nice hole right into your pants. So you need that. But yeah, we do like them. What else?
Nolan would like to know, would you add a ribbon to tie the handles to secure them inside the folio?
Oh, you sure could. So most of her little, you mean like on the little bags like this?
That is all the information I have.
Okay. Well, these little bags have them, but this is the thing that's cool about this. You can do anything you want to do. I mean, literally, this is up to you. And so it's what works for you. We all like different things. I am not a clip user. You know, the older I get, it's hard for me to pinch, you know, and some of those clips are pinchers, and somebody's like, well, you're not a pin user either. Not that either. But you've got to use what works for you. And this is what's fun, is that you can just tailor this to whatever you want. It takes one 10-inch square for the outside, one for the inside, and one for the batting, and you're good to go. And then just, you know, little snippets of whatever you have that you want to put in there that makes this a usable thing for you. So I tried something early on, and I'm telling you this because I want you to know it doesn't work. So I got a tiny little pin cushion, made a tiny little pin cushion, and I put it in the little space on the car door where the handle is. Let me just tell you, that is a painful mistake. I did lose one, too, because you open the door and it was gone. Made another one. It's a painful mistake. And so something like this is much more helpful to me, you know, if you can actually not impale yourself when you're trying to get out of the car, and you're able to sit and sew as you go along as well. So do I have any questions out here? Do you feel like that was pretty explanatory? You guys got it? You were able to do it? Great pattern, Fold and Go Folio. Any more questions over there? All right. Well then, I'm going to say these most famous words. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial from the Missouri Star Quilt Company. Yeah.